So, um, in regards to overall this second year review, what I'm looking at talking about is, well, first off, let me just say thank you for all of your support and all of your encouragement and, letting me know how I'm doing along the way. That's very important because let me tell you, when I first started this channel, what I was counting on, the gamble that I had was if I put it out there, I will get some response and guidance. Guidance is the key word. Without having a navigating hand leading me through these things, I wouldn't have known where I was going, what I was doing, and I would have been lost. And I would have probably quit because, some of my friends said, yeah, it'll be a passing thing. Get it out of your system. Yeah, you want to explore rock and roll and all of that sort of shit that you were saying. Yeah, a couple of months later, so 2 years later, here I am, surprised that I'm still here in regards to all of the. I mean, when you fly close to the sun, you can easily lose your channel, right? So that I still have the actual same YouTube account 2 years later is a really, really big deal. And I thought, many times I'm thinking to myself, asking the question, how long will I be here? Damn, and a number of people have said to me, hey, why don't you scale back your regular job and just start doing this a little bit more full time? Because there's definitely an opportunity for you to make really decent money if you were to do this full time like a lot of people are doing. And my answer to that is because of the fact, the nature of my channel, and we are playing around with people's intellectual property. They're graceful enough to actually allow us to use their stuff on a platform like this, but it is still theirs. And at any moment in time, boom, that chopping block can just hammer down on you. So I don't want to put so much reliance on the channel, the format of how I'm using and what I'm doing. And YouTube, the algorithm on YouTube is just changing all the time on you. Stuff that I had uploaded the year before, trying to re-upload, now the shit's getting blocked. So basically, to answer your question in a nutshell, I don't have enough faith and trust to put all of my eggs in one basket. I will never, ever rely upon any kind of income source coming out of this. This will always be kind of like a very, very intriguing sideline hobby for me. I got to keep it like that. I will never count on it financially for those reasons. Just to answer those questions. I'm just shooting off at the top of my head here. I don't have a script. I had an idea and a format of how I was going to approach my second tier review, but I'm just shooting off at the top of my head. Let's go into some of the questions that I was asked. I am still a fan of all of the old blues, all of the old music, and nothing has really changed in the way of my favorite songs. Where it comes to my favorite rock and roll song, it's still Sunshine of Your Love. Where it comes to my favorite Led Zeppelin song, it's still the very, very first one that I did a reaction to, man, since I've been loving you. So when I get cemented into something, I pretty well stay structured in it. Damn throat, sorry. Yeah, man, so with my second year going into this, I'm really now, I have an appreciation for the structure of the rock and roll template, the song structure of rock and roll. The way the structure of the song is one of those really big things that really heralded rock and roll and put it into the forefront for so many decades. The structure of a classic rock song is one of those things that I really learned about. Of course, my next big learning curve, my biggest learning curve ever from the beginning of time till now, is basically the creative renaissance of rock. That's what I call it. From 65 to 75, everybody was just firing on all cylinders creatively. It's the most intriguing thing about this whole reaction channel series that I've been doing, is that I've just been seeing that everybody has been influenced and is drawing power and creativity from that period, that moment in time. It's a combination, I guess, of the things that were happening atmospherically, a little bit of divine blessing, a combination of all of those things went into creating the great classic rock artists. And as this was playing, especially the final track, Bring It On Home, I was thinking that I was trying to form a masterclass question in a sense of the guitar-centric classic rock song, the guitar-centric classic rock acts, classic rock bands. How easy or hard would it be to go back to a guitar-centric classic rock sounding band? You know what I'm saying? It's something like that. I haven't fully fleshed out the question, but that's what I was thinking in my mind, and that's what I'm going to pose to you. Answer this for me. As I'm watching this performance of Led Zeppelin, and I'm thinking to myself, how sad is it that we are so far removed from a guitar-centric classic rock sounding act? You know what I'm saying? And it would be so nice if we had even a couple, even a handful, not a bounty like we had back in the Renaissance period, but just a handful of guitar-centric classic rock sounding bands. Wouldn't that be so nice? You know what I'm saying? So my question to you is this. Do you think that we can go back to that at some point in time? Maybe, you know how fashion trends do a full circle? Maybe it will do a full circle at some point in time. Do you think that we can accomplish that again? I know that the industry is a big stumbling block. I know that there's times have changed, and the creative idea and the resources and the tools that we're using takes us away from that classic rock sound. But do you think it's possible? One. And how likely is it that we would maybe see some sort of a resurgence? Those are my questions. 2 questions in one. Answer that for me. That was kind of like the beginning of my next masterclass question. So, what else have I learned during this period between first year and second year? My biggest learning curve was really how just reinforcing the creative renaissance and how these guys were influenced. It's admirable that they rubbed shoulders with, and they were all great, you know. Clapton admired Page. Page admired Clapton. They admired Hendrix, you know, and they all collaborated, and, you know, they went to each other's concerts and they wrote for each other and all of these different things. So all of that sort of stuff are ingredients of that great creative period of time. And I'm a big fan of it. One day, I don't know, I might even write a damn book about it. You know, I'm just so lit by it. So that's been my biggest learning curve in my 2 years of doing this. And going forward into year 3, I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on that great dynamic called the Renaissance of Creativity. And as I go deeper into it, I appreciate it a lot more. Seeing bands like Zeppelin and Floyd and Sabbath and Deep Purple and all of these great bands that had this element about their creativeness, man, it has made me a really, really big fan. Just as big a fan now as I was when I first started, when I was a little bit more focused on the R&B side. I mean, you know, I'm being brought up on Soul Train and things of that sort, you know, so I'm just as big a fan of classic rock as I am now. And let me talk about my learning curve. 2 years, man. I have done reactions to, I would say, every major rock act. What you might describe as the A grade, the B grade, and the C grade, maybe even some of the D grade or whatever the case is. but I have touched, it's like a buffet, and you touch a little bit of everything. And you gorge yourself in some things, like my regular Led Zeppelin reactions and my Unholy Trinity reactions. But like a buffet, I've sampled a great deal of things, to the point now where I have a a big picture of everything. Now, it still has, still have a long way to go. I can still actually add more depth to that knowledge base. But in 2 years of knowing very little, if you were to kind of grill me question-wise, I would be very, very confident in saying, the central hub of the classic rock era was this, and this. And these were some of the key players that contributed to this, and this. I'm going through this mental process because sometimes some of my friends who might not understand what I'm doing, they'll ask me these questions. And the reason why it's important for me to have this worked out is, let me tell you a quick little thing. A lot of you who've been with me for a while, you know this story. I was challenged, and I was challenged from somebody who was an evangelist in a church, my buddy's mom. And she is this really old, orthodox, matriarchal kind of Christian woman, really judgmental, as thunderous as John Bonham's drumming. That's her persona, and she can make anybody turn small and cower. And she, in the middle of her entire family gathering, she got up into my face and called me out in that shit. And I'm like, yo, man, I wasn't prepared. I can handle somebody who's rude to me in the comment sections, but on a face-to-face, coming from somebody like that caught me. So I pulled up my big boy pants, and oh man, did I throw it back in this lady's face. Not polished and refined. So now I've got it a little bit more worked out. Anybody ever messes with me like that again, I am ready, I am prepared, and I am ready to defend my love, now that's the word, love for classic rock. And if you hit me up with, oh, you listen to Black Sabbath and so and so and so, now I know what to say to you. Now I've got it in my head. Now it's structured and a little bit rehearsed and polished. I'm not going to get into a rip-roaring argument or anything like that with you or with anyone who approaches me this way. It's happened a few times actually, but now I know so much about the genre of classic rock that I can confidently answer any challenges that comes my way, especially from the most unlikeliest friends, mostly, who still don't understand why I do what I do and sometimes still have some reserved judgments. You know what I'm saying? So overall, that's been my big learning curve, especially going into year 2. And very grateful for the wisdom that I've learned. I didn't expect to learn so much. I didn't expect to be so influenced on every level going into it. And it's changed my life because, when I first started my channel, man, I had a vision of 10,000 subscribers, a nice small little group, kind of like a little book club where I pretty much know most of my subscribers, and there you go. Just have a nice little, kind of like an intimate gathering in a way. Didn't count on the Led Zeppelin factor. I didn't have that planned. Didn't count on that. And it was such a big boom that I had to change the workings of my life to accommodate the demand for that. And so, it was a bit of a struggle to make an adjustment. But yeah, within 6 months, I was at 10,000 subscribers. 4 months later, I was at 18. So man, my life really changed over a period of time. And for the better, because it was really cool. The discovery and the speed of my learning was greatly expedited, and it branched off into so many other ways. Now I've got a second channel, The growth process was just incredible, man. Anyway, listen, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. I just wanted to share with you what I'd learned in year 2, what my biggest things are about rock and roll that I appreciate and that I'm grateful for, and how much I guess I'm looking forward to getting into the next chapter. I mean, for example, I'm now getting into the Led Zeppelin live stuff, and that's going to be quite an adventure in itself. Can't wait to get to the end of the year, where I'm going to hit up the O2 concert. It's got to be at the end of the year during the holiday season. I made a promise. I never ever not fulfill my promises. And so that's going to be a really, really nice, it's going to be a great year, for all of the reactions and what I'm looking at doing. So anyways, man, thank you once again for everybody who's been with me from the beginning. I appreciate it. Who has contributed to my learning by submitting recommendations and some personal notes along the way, which is great because I look forward to picking your brains. The stuff that I learn, I could say maybe 50% of what I've learned came by way of my reading, my research, my Wikipedia, but I would say probably greater than 50% of my learning curve came directly from what the viewers have taught me, because that sort of stuff, maybe I can find it, going online, but how long would it take? You know what I'm saying? So there we are about the learning curve. The learning curve has been expedited so fast. Okay, it's not the same as like you growing up with it for the past 30 years or whatever the case may be, but definitely it's the next best thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a tadpole no more. So it's all thanks to a lot of you, especially if you've been with me a long time and you've communicated with me by sending me reaction recommendations and and comments and things of that sort. So props to you, man. I appreciate it. Without you guys, I would not be here. I know, and you hear people say shit like that all the time, but think about it. When I first started, I was backwards. I first started by doing a reaction to Pink Floyd, and my first reaction to that was Learning to Fly. Great song, but I should have started from the beginning. Same thing with Van Halen. My first reaction was Where Have All the Good Times Gone? And immediately people are like, oh, yeah, good song, but you got to start here. Same thing with Led Zeppelin, great song, but hey, you got to start here. So if I didn't have that guiding element, I really would have been lost, and you'd get overwhelmed. You'd feel like a feather in the whirlwind, and I would probably have checked out by now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got to give you guys props again. If you've been with me, especially if you've let me know who you are, if you've been with me from the beginning. When I say the beginning, I'm talking about not only do you remember my brush with Maggie, that's my buddy's mom, the old crazy ass Orthodox Christian lady. Not only do you remember that, but you can even go all the way back to when I first started my anti-warfare songs. If you have been with me that long, let me know that. All right. My very, very first reaction was CCR, Fortunate Son. And then after that, it was War Pigs, Black Sabbath. Those were my very, very first. So if you have been with me from that very, very first moment, let me know who you are. That'd be really cool, man. Reminiscing and all that. Anyways, this is the end of my Royal Albert Hall reaction, and also tapering off into my second year review. So thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate all of the help and all of the great comments and encouragement. I appreciate my patrons for helping me keeping the channel going and launching another channel, and also helping me set up my Vimeo account. That shit is expensive, man. So holy cow. Patrons, man, props to you. Anyways, thank you very much, you guys. And I don't know what I'm going to do in regards to my next Led Zeppelin reaction. It might be the BBC, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take a look at all of your recommendations and then decide where to go from there. More than likely it might be the BBC, but we'll see. I basically look at everybody's recommendations and I kind of come up with, okay, well, this is obviously the next way to go, and then I'll go from there. So I won't know until I look at things throughout the course of the week. But where Led Zeppelin is concerned specifically, there's another. I just finished Willie's Quad, and that was a Led Zeppelin. You got to see this shit, man. It's called The Worst of Led Zeppelin, and it's even at their worst, they're still better than most, right? So you got to check this out. I really, really hope, fingers crossed, that it makes it onto YouTube. I'll try a combination of things to see if it sticks. I might have to break it up, split it up, and that sort of thing. So you might see it in parts, but hopefully you are going to see it. Failing that, you know by now, it's the V word, right? So check that out. So I'll be uploading Willie's Quad probably in another day or two. All right. So that's where I'm at, where Led Zeppelin is concerned, and I'm looking to try to get back to a couple of reactions that I dropped the ball on, namely the Rush series. I was doing, I got far into the Pink Floyd series, but I kind of dropped the ball on the Rush series. So I got to take up from where I left off, where it comes to Rush. So after Neil passed, I don't know, it just kind of, I wouldn't say that I lost the savor for it, but I don't know, it's just changed the chemistry somehow. I don't know, I'm going to have to do some soul searching with that, but I'm going to get back into my Rush reactions. That's a very, very big one going forward. So I'm going to have to do some research and see where I left off before the Neil Peart tribute, and then take it up from there and go that route. Anyways, I've talked long enough. Thanks for joining me. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you later. Peace.